welcome to day 11 of Vlogtober. My name is Tracy and I am the podcaster of Knitting on the Float, and it is still so beautiful. We are now in the double digits of October, the 11th of October. The sunshine is amazing. I did have to put a long sleeve shirt on today because it was a little bit chilly this morning when I went for a walk with our neighbors and Scout. But the ducks are loving the weather. I'm loving the weather. It is fabulous. Today we are going to go traveling. We are going to travel from Marshall, Texas and into Florida. I think we're going to get to the gates of Disney World today. We will see. I uploaded all of the videos yesterday. There's about an hour of footage that needs to be edited down. So it's going to be a long vlog today, but I would like to get us to at least the gates of Disney, and then we'll do a few days of whatever's happening around here, and then we will visit Disney World for a bit and visit the August travels throughout October. You know, when we need that little bit of warmth because the days are cooling down. I am quite happy not to have the days cool down, but as I mentioned, today I had to put on a long sleeve shirt because this morning it was a little bit chilly. So fall is most definitely in the air. Anyway, I am going to go inside and continue my editing. I started yesterday, but it was a bit of a crazy day, so I'm going to continue editing, and I'll check in with you a little bit later. Good morning. Welcome to Marshall, Texas, where our hotel was right by a John Deere dealership, so tractors. There's this really neat red mud. I captured one of those flash storms last night. There was a beautiful rainbow when the rain started, and I was looking out the window and my goodness, the rain came down. I'm not really surprised. In the south in the US, the afternoon rainstorms can be pretty intense. Anyway, we are off to Pensacola, Florida today. Last night I struggled trying to figure out how to put my footage on the iPad. I wasn't able to figure it out, so I needed a better Wi-Fi connection that didn't need a password or something. I'm hoping that when we get to Orlando, Isaac will lend me his computer so I can start putting some of the footage up. But in the meantime, I am going to enjoy this gloriously sunny day. So Texas today, into Louisiana, through Mississippi, and into Florida. So a 4-state day. Yesterday was just a 1-state day, so I do have to say it's a good state of mind day though. We are just about to leave Texas and enter Louisiana. I was telling you the states that we were going to be going to today, and I missed Alabama. So we are now leaving Texas, and there is our Welcome to Louisiana sign with a fleur-de-lis. So, second state of today, Mississippi next, then Alabama, then Florida. Lots of tires on the side of the roads in the southern US. The roads get hot and there's so many big trucks. We got stuck behind one yesterday that was blowing its tire. That was kind of scary. Crossing fingers that we have a nice safe drive today. It is a gorgeous, cloudless, totally cloudless, sunny day. There's a plane way, way, way up there. Maybe there's a slight cloud, but for the most part, gorgeous, cloudless day. It's about 30 degrees Celsius. It's beautiful. We are now in Louisiana, just at a rest stop, and it's nice to get out of the car, see the beautiful tall trees, and there was an interesting tree. I don't know what type of tree this is, but it's got, I guess, little flowers and berries on it. And I'll show you. I'm not sure what this is. You can see that it's in different stages of development ripeness. Some of them have already gone past their prime, but sort of nice to see the changing foliage. I think here's an oak tree behind me as well, so it's nice to get out into nature, if you want to call a rest stop nature. So, you know, trees, a few cars, clean bathroom, really important. But yeah, it's nice to just have some fresh, sunshiny air. So, Louisiana next. We will be passing over the Mississippi today, so the border between Louisiana and Mississippi. We'll be passing over the mighty Mississippi, and I'm hoping to catch that on camera. I'm telling Greg, I'm not driving it, I'm going to be videotaping. Let's bring a mermaid out into nature. Here is my scrumptious pearl. The ball is getting smaller, and you can see I am working on my toe, just doing the last of the decreases. I think I have 3 more rows to knit, and then it is time to do my grafting, and then I have sock 2. So it's been a good knitting morning, still morning here, and I am then going to work on my 2nd Avenue wrap. So progress, always a good thing. We are currently in Monroe in Louisiana, so through the city center, and here are some riverboats down here. We're now at the Monroe Corporation limit, and there's a beautiful river down there with some boats. Very excited a little bit later to be going over the Mississippi, so getting all prepped for that. Still in Louisiana, Greg and I were talking about alligators and wondering whether alligators come this far north in Louisiana. I thought they did, but I have seen a couple of signs that say that to be careful because sometimes the bridge will ice in winter. And we just saw a sign saying to be aware that sometimes there are bears just off the road. So a little bit of bear country. Not sure if it's alligator country here yet. One thing I have definitely noticed, a big change between even Texas and some of the northwestern states, is in Texas and the other states, the corn crops were green. Here they are brown. They have been ready for harvest. So interesting. This is the Bayou Macon. Down the way, there's a bayou. And there's lots of those little rivers that we go over. And usually very muddy looking rivers. And again, not sure whether there's alligators in those rivers or not. Anyway, this is the scenery through Louisiana. We're still maybe an hour off of the border to Mississippi. On the driver's side, you can see the cornfields. They are definitely brown and past their prime. And they are, I guess, I don't know whether they have a second corn growing season or whether it's just the one season. Greg, you had mentioned yesterday you thought that sometimes they do a second season?
Maybe,
but it is August, so it seems it would be a little bit late. Anyway, very brown looking crops though. I did see some crops, or some fields had been raised already, but different growing seasons. Just looking out the window here, so here's the corn, and they're actually raising the field. Train's gonna get in the way, or not a train, a truck is gonna get in the way, but I hope you're able to see that. As we continue driving, I've been looking at the trees, and I haven't seen any Spanish moss yet, so I'm not sure whether we're just not quite far enough south, but the trees are still very lush and green here. unlike the corn, which on the other side of the trees there, you can see some brown corn stalks. And we just passed a field a few moments ago. Truck got in the way, of course, and they were raising half of the field. So corn season is done in Louisiana, and they've raised part of that field there. So a little bit of a view. No Spanish moss yet, but I'm hoping we might see some today, because Spanish moss is always so beautiful to look at. Although I'm sure the people that have to deal with it and clean it up might not agree. I'm just going to show you where we are on the sat nav. So we've got the Mississippi going around us right now. So we're just on a little peninsula, basically, of land. You can't see the Mississippi yet, but we will be crossing it very soon. We're getting very close to the state line, and I will check in a few moments. I am seeing the bridge ahead. It's a fancy bridge. Let me zoom in so that you can see what we are going to cross. A big fancy bridge. And we are now going from Louisiana into Mississippi. We are going to cross the Mississippi River. I'm going to zoom out so that I can kind of catch as much as I can. There is a Mississippi Welcome Center in 1.5 miles, which sounds like a wonderful place to stop. So lots of gorgeous trees. And we are about, and then there's a train track over there, and we are about to cross this Grand River. I think the last time we saw the Mississippi, Greg and I were up in Minnesota. That was the start of the Mississippi, right? So here is the bridge. I'm looking for water. Try not to move things too fast. Look at the old bridge too. And let's look down. There is the mighty Mississippi. Wow, that is one big river. There's even a shipping boat down there. And this way Nathaniel's got his iPad in the back seat and is also filming. So there is the Mississippi, looking along the banks. You feel like you've really crossed a milestone here when you've gotten there. And we are now about to enter a whole new state. Welcome to MISSISSIPPI. We're going to the Welcome Center. Okay, try and spell it. MISSISPPII. No, MISSISSIPPI. Do it again. MISS. IPPI. And what's behind you, Nathaniel?
The river.
The Mississippi River. That is one big river, isn't it? It's actually bigger than I thought it would be. There's Greg way down there, and he's going to look at the overpass. Just walking between the two bridges. One's a train bridge and one's a car bridge. The other one, I don't know, it said it was closed. Looked like you might have been able to walk across it at one point. Look at all these bugs. The dragonflies. They're not bugs. Holy dragonflies. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. We are in Mississippi. It is stinking hot and there are bugs. Nice dragonflies, but bugs. And this is the Welcome Center that overlooks the river. There's some beautiful flowering trees here. Cannons down there. Fast rushing cars. Fast rushing river. It looks about the same color as the Fraser River. Cannons. How close are we to Florida?
Alabama too.
We're going to go to Alabama a little bit later on today.
Georgia.
We're not going through Georgia. We're going to go through
Alabama, that's it.
Mobile, Alabama, and then we will be going into Florida and staying in the Panama City Beach area, Pensacola. Anyway, loud traffic, but definitely a sight to see. We are just in the Welcome Center, and it's really quite nice in here. Welcome to Mississippi, Greg. And there's brochures of all the things that are there. There's a shrimping trip and lots of different things to do in the Mississippi, or the state of Mississippi. I was going to say the Mississippi area, but it's a whole entire state. And lots and lots of tours and historic sites, bed and breakfasts, but beautiful lamp in here too. So, and this is Vicksburg, Mississippi. Anyway, we're going to get on the road soon, but thought we would just take a few moments and stop here. And can we go see this river again one more time? It is definitely impressive. I feel like I am at home. There goes a crazy person down the river, fast on a speedboat. It's like being at home. What's the difference? Anyway, Greg is down there looking. Nathaniel is here. The dragonflies are everywhere. But a beautiful, beautiful day. Oh my goodness, I would not want to be the one who has to take that flag up and down every single night on that bridge. Anyway, there we go. Walk down these stairs here, and as Nathaniel pointed out, there are dragonflies and cicadas in here. Not that you can hear the cicadas over or the sound of the truck, because there are definitely a lot of trucks, but there are also cicadas in there. So anyway, we are going to head back to the car, past the dragonflies, past the beautiful view. I have to keep making sure I turn around to see it. And this is where all the dragonflies were before. We're flying around this bush. They're now flying around everywhere. There's everywhere. I hope that I'm capturing some of them, because it's mesmerizing to watch all of these dragonflies. Anyway, one last view, and we are going to proceed to Florida. So, as Nathaniel said, a couple more states to go, and let's just do a quick zoom in to that huge river. Before we go, try it one more time.
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
You did it. It was definitely very, very loud out there. So that was a nice rest stop though, wasn't it, Greg? He's busy trying to check tire pressures and things like that. The big boat down there on the Mississippi seems to be making good progress as it works its way up. It's actually moving quite fast. It's got a barge in front of it. Anyway, did you enjoy that rest stop, Greg?
Yes.
Yes. What did you enjoy best about it?
They had a lot of period furniture from the Civil War.
Inside the home thing there, the homestead. And what did you like best about it? The view?
I suppose so.
You suppose so. Typical answer from a 13-year-old. Anyway, that is our stop now, and let's go into reverse and then into drive. This morning when we were driving, we went over a small river, and I saw that there was a paddle boat in the river, and I pointed it out, and as soon as we passed it, I thought, oh my gosh, was that the Mississippi? And I totally missed it, and I didn't get it on camera or anything. I'm glad to say there is no way you could miss the Mississippi, although Greg said unless you were unconscious, and if you were sleeping in the passenger seat, you might miss the Mississippi, but I'm glad I was able to share it with you. I just want to share with you what the roadway looks like here in Mississippi. So, very green still. Banks here. We'll be on the road for a little bit. Some hanging things. This is definitely feeling like the South. I think I need a glass of iced tea. We're in a zone with some construction, so we're going at a little bit of a slower pace. So I thought I would show you some of the foliage and not necessarily exciting scenery, but to give you an idea of what things look like in the South here. There's lots of vines that sort of dangle from some of the trees, and as we get more south, that's when you'll see a lot more Spanish moss growing on those type of vines, and always really pretty to see. But anyway, just to give you an idea of what things are looking at, as I mentioned, a tiny bit of a slower pace than we've been driving recently. But picking up the pace now, here we go. We are continuing down the road in Mississippi, and we are seeing signs for Mobile and also New Orleans. So we're coming up to a spot where we need to choose between going towards New Orleans or Mobile, Alabama. We're going to head towards
Turn right at exit 59 onto US 98 East towards Winston.
Mobile, Alabama, because she just told us to. So that is what we are going to do. Follow the directions. So to the left, New Orleans. To the right, Mobile.
Turn right onto US 98 East towards Rosedale now.
And she said now, so that's what we're doing. But I already said that, didn't I? We must be in the south, where every day in the afternoon the sky opens up and rain comes down for a few moments. Usually heavy rain, and we've just gone through it. We might go through another little bit of wet spots, but it's kind of like clockwork here. We are just about to exit Mississippi and we'll be entering Alabama. So we're about a mile away from the state line. And this is when everything usually starts to wrap up. They want the way stations, and up in the north they were checking boats. I guess they didn't want any invasive species coming through on the boats, but we'll see what's laying ahead in a moment. We are coming up on the state change. We are leaving Mississippi. Can you spell it, Nathaniel? Can you spell Mississippi?
Mississippi.
Excellent. So we can now spell Mississippi. So now that we can spell it, we can leave Mississippi and head into Sweet Home, Alabama, where we will be going down through Mobile and then across to Florida. And we need to stop in and get juice in Florida because that's what they have at their welcome center. I think that's my favorite state's welcome center is Florida. So in a few moments, we will be crossing the state line. Looks like we've got construction in front of us. 2 seasons, construction and winter in many parts of the world. Anyway, let's take a look. So they are telling us about the fines in place if you are speeding in a construction zone. 4-lane ends in a half a mile. So we're going to go down to, I guess, a 2-lane highway. be interesting because I guess with the construction. Anyway, we are very close to those signs and looking out for them as we slow down so that we are good in the construction zone. As we go around the bend down to one lane, we are leaving Mississippi now, and the state line, according to my screen on our car, and it's pretty good, it's pretty accurate, we are crossing into Alabama right, I guess, on this bridge here because we're going over a river. So state line is right in the middle of this river, right here. So bye-bye Mississippi, hello Alabama. There we go. And here's the welcome sign. And of course it says Sweet Home Alabama. There we go. And another state for our 4th day of travel. It's amazing how easy it is to lose track of the days. I was thinking it was our 4th day of travel, but it's actually our 5th day. We left on Tuesday, so we traveled Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, yesterday, and today is 5 days. Tomorrow will be 6, and we will reach our destination then. Anyway, we're coming into a small town in Alabama, and then we will be heading around Mobile before heading over towards Pensacola.
1/2 mile, keep left onto I-10 east towards Florida.
So we are now about to take the freeway to go farther east on the ground. We want to go straight on those shiny things, and we are heading towards Pensacola.
Keep left onto I-10 east towards Florida now.
As compared to Pascagoula. My goodness. Those are very close. Pensacola, Pascagoula. Pensacola, Pascagoula. 5 days ago we left Vancouver, which is on the Pacific Ocean. We are now entering Mobile, Alabama. There is a tunnel ahead, which kind of disappoints me because I was hoping we were going to go on a bridge so I could share with you the views of the Gulf of Mexico, which is just south of us, and of course leads to the Atlantic Ocean. So coast to coast, and I feel like we are getting much closer because obviously we are. Anyway, here is Mobile, Alabama. Pensacola, we must go through the tunnel ahead. I'm hoping we go up a little bit before the tunnel so we can see the river and the water. There are boats here. There's a little bit of water, the river that leads out to the Gulf. And in the meantime, we are going underground for a few minutes under the water. So here we are. I think we're going to come up, and I think we will likely have a nice view of some water very soon. I'm hoping, crossing fingers. It's just a little bit south of us, and oh, there we go. Ah, there is some water. So the river and the bay, Pensacola Bay, or not Pensacola Bay, Mobile Bay, and there in the distance is the Gulf of Mexico. So very exciting. And there is I don't know if that's an Air Force base. Oh, look at that. There's a naval ship there. So USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park. So there is lots of historical planes there, and a naval ship. Greg and Isaac would have enjoyed that. There's live bait. So here we are, and under that bridge, or over that bridge, depending on which way you're looking at it, is the Gulf of Mexico. So very exciting. here looked like if they had any tide that went a little higher than it was supposed to, that you would not be getting on this bridge. It's a very scary looking ramp, actually. Anyway, here is some beautiful bay views, Gulf views. Amazing to think that 5 days ago we were on the Pacific side of this continent, and we are now on the Atlantic side of the continent. Sometimes it feels like a very, very long drive, and yes, it has been, but it's amazing that we can, you know, with technology, imagine, you know, over, you know, 150 years ago, people would be absolutely in awe of the fact that you could get from one side of the country to the other in this amount of time. And yes, we could have done it faster on the plane, but then we wouldn't have had these amazing views. What do you think, Greg? We're going to Florida. Happy?
Yeah, it's great.
It's great. And Nathaniel's happy too. So, almost there. We are about a mile and a bit away from the Alabama and Florida border, which is separated by a river. And in typical afternoon fashion in the Gulf of Mexico area, the sky has opened up a little bit and let out a little rain. It's actually not too heavy. It can get quite heavy, and there are, you know, usually every day there's a big downpour, but, you know, which is kind of funny for the Sunshine State, which is what we are about to go into. Anyway, we are in the last few moments of our time in Alabama before we enter the wonderful Sunshine State of Florida. And today will be the last state crossing that we have, and in fact, on our way to our destination, this is the last one, but this is the most exciting one, and we're hoping that there is a welcome center on the other side of the state border, because at the welcome center, the state of Florida always has a lovely welcome with a glass of citrus, whether it's orange juice or grapefruit juice. I like to choose the grapefruit juice. It'll be interesting to see what everyone else chooses. Crossing fingers that that is still an option. Anyway, we are getting closer, and as we get there, I will make sure that we see that beautiful state sign. We are now exiting Alabama. There's the river, and we are at the Florida state line, and there's our beautiful Florida welcomes you. We are now in the Sunshine State. Yay! It is exciting. The state of Florida Welcome Center is open. If you ever drive to Florida, you must stop at the Welcome Center. It is just a ray of sunshine and something to look forward to. So that is where we are headed right now. Very, very exciting. Greg, what's above your head?
It's a plane!
There's a plane! Where's Superman? Underneath the plane. Another way you know you are in Florida? Palm trees. The Welcome Center is under construction right now.
Palm trees at our house.
There's palm trees in Vancouver as well, which is kind of a strange thing, but you kind of feel a little bit more tropical with palm trees in Florida. As I said, the Welcome Center is under construction right now, but I'm just glad it's open. Nathaniel and I
I'm not that
are
sad
very
about
sad. You're not sad about it? I'm sad about it. This is like my favorite part. You get to come in here, and over there is juice. You have to be here by 5. We just missed it. Look, there's the orange juice and the grapefruit juice. Greg says there's vending machines over here. Sorry, not the same thing. Anyway, off to the restrooms, those that you might see in Florida. So Bobcat and Bobcat prints. These prints I should be very familiar with. They belong to the great blue heron, river otters. Their footprints look like this. Any guesses to these footprints? You do not want to see these footprints. This is the American alligator. So animal tracks. Sometimes even when you don't see an animal, you are aware of its presence by the signs it leaves. The tracks are probably the most positive identification left behind because every animal's tracks are distinct. See if you can find any of these tracks and discovered what has passed here. So those are those ones, and there's more on this side. So we have the Florida panther and those tracks, the gray fox. Nathaniel was stepping on his tracks. These, surprisingly, we've seen these before. Black bear. And then we have a white-tailed deer. And this last one here is a wild turkey. You might think that's me. Here we are, palm trees, plains, and just beyond where we've parked, the parking lot here, there is actually a Navy building, so I'm not sure. I don't think we're right on the water here, but I guess that is an office building for the Federal Navy in the US. So sad about the Welcome Center being closed, but c'est la vie. At least we are here, and we are here safely. Good morning and welcome to sunny Florida. It is Sunday, August, I want to say 14th, I think that's right. And we have just left Pensacola and we are heading towards Walt Disney World. So the most magical place on earth. Before we get there, we need to cross over this little bay of water. This is Encambia Bay, and look at the sunshine reflecting off the water. You can tell it's still early morning. It is just past 8:01, and I'm not sure whether I'm terrified of these type of bridges in Florida or whether I love them. There's a mixture of both. These long expanses of bridge. There's a seagull there. You sort of worry about, what happens if. But there's another one over there too. I don't know if that's for trains or what, but we've each got our own bridge. Looks like smooth sailing right now. And during a hurricane, I don't think I'd want to be going across this thing. But right now, beautiful sunny day, weather's clear, all is good with the world. We are driving along Highway 10. This is an interstate, and we are coming up on the time change in about a mile. But here is the Florida scenery from the highway. Lots of tall trees and greenery. Lots of green grass, because every day there's going to be some rain coming down. The time change happens at a river, and the Seminole Lake is just a little bit above us. Georgia is maybe about 4 or 5 miles north of us as well, so we're very close to the state line. And the time change line goes through the middle of the lake and then down the river, and I can't remember the name of the river is the Chattahoochee, I think, something like that. Chattahoochee River, I believe. Anyway, we are coming up on the Eastern time change, going into Eastern Daylight Time. When I went to Toronto last, I really thought that I need to live on Eastern Time and Greg needs to live on Pacific Time. And because he's a morning person, I'm a night person, that would work out really well for us, I think. Anyway, we are slowly coming up to a time change where it will go from, right now it is 10:01 a.m. and it will soon be 11:01 a.m. in the blink of an eye. Here is the bridge ahead of us, and on the other side of the bridge, we will be an hour ahead and in my favorite time zone, the Eastern Daylight Time. Oh, this is the Apalachola River. I don't know why I thought it was the other one. Anyway, just watching the clock as we go over, and I will do a quick zoom to the side here. Look for alligators. Quick, quick. Check for them. Do you see any? Not always easy to see. And we are now on the other side of the river, but my clock has not changed. So, ah, there we go. It changed. I didn't see a sign. Did you see a sign about? No. You just have to go by what your car tells you. Thankfully, our car is all hooked up with that information. So it is 11:02 on August 14th. I'm really having to think this through as we drive through the state of Florida on our way to Disney World. Soon we will be there. Yesterday I was talking about Spanish moss in the trees, and Greg and I just switched. I was driving for a little bit, and a little while back I saw that we are starting to see Spanish moss in the trees, and here is a tree just right here by the Wahoo Seafood Grill. It's got Spanish moss dripping from it, as has this old tree on top of the world. But it's always nice to see. You feel like you're in the south when you see the Spanish moss. And of course, yes, we are. It is 33 degrees today. So definitely starting to feel the heat and humidity. Hope you are enjoying these views as we drive towards Disney World. We are now about a little over 2 hours away. We're about 2 hours, 25 minutes away. It'll be good to get out of the car. We are just going across, I don't know that there's any other way to put this. Swampland. This is part of the Paynes Prairie, and Craig said, I wonder how many gators are in there. There are quite a few, I am sure, as we travel along. Looks like there's lots of water lilies as well. As we've been driving along, I've been watching the side of the road. Yesterday, so it's Paynes Prairie Preserve State Park, so probably lots of birds in there too. Anyway, when we were in Alabama yesterday, we were driving along, and at the side of the road there was a dead armadillo, and it looked like an upside down small pig with its feet sticking up in the air. And today I saw another armadillo same position. So armadillos and cars do not get along. But while we were looking at the side of the road, there was a tortoise walking along the shoulder, or going as fast as he could along the shoulder, and he had not been hit, but he was just going along. So sometimes roadkill is a little bit creepy to see, but other times there's always interesting things there too. Anyway, there is the state preserve. Some birds in the sky. No dead armadillos on the side of the road that I've seen in this little chatter. It always happens when I'm not within reach of the camera. Isn't that the way? Anyway, roadkill is an unfortunate, I don't know what's the word, unfortunate event. Oh, look at that Spanish moss there. So, it's an unfortunate event, but that's how it goes sometimes. We are about an hour 15 away from our destination, and just looking at these clouds, we are in for a Florida rainstorm in the next little bit. These ones can get quite heavy. There goes, I can see some drips of water landing on the windscreen or the windshield. I think this one's going to be a heavy one. And it's starting to rain. Usually they're fairly quick, 20-minute shower, and then passes and the sunshine comes out, dries everything up, sort of kills the humidity for a whole 3 seconds flat, and then it's humid again shortly afterwards. But just a typical afternoon. You can see the blue skies over there, and because where Orlando is, it's sort of in the middle. The Gulf and the ocean like to play with each other, and every afternoon it's fairly predictable that you are going to get wet. So if you're coming to Orlando, bring a poncho, bring a rain jacket, bring an umbrella. Here it comes now. It's actually just starting to lighten up a tiny bit. It was heavier, but it comes down fast, and sometimes not when you're expecting it, it's getting heavier again. It goes in waves. But definitely makes for needing to be very cautious driving. Glad I'm not driving right now. You can see some blue sky, little patches of blue straight ahead. We're on this road for about 7 miles, and then we'll be heading south. I'm not sure. It comes in patches. It can be dry in one spot and completely soaked in another. Often there is thunder and lightning that accompanies the storms as well, but again, a typical afternoon in the Orlando area. All the Spanish moss in these trees here, and pretty much as quickly as it started, it stops. Doesn't mean we won't see more rain in a little bit, but that is generally how it goes. Oh, look, a caboose. Don't see many of those around these days. There's also lots of fields and ponds. There was a park area that had some benches and fencing around a pond as well. So afternoon rainstorm. I've got some land you might be interested in, just over that ridge there. And the rain has started up again. We knew we would. When we turned south, we could see the gray clouds that way, but we are on one of the interior highways heading down to Disney World. We didn't want to take the turnpike, but we're definitely getting some interesting views through here. Lots of old trees with Spanish moss, lots of golf courses and homes in there as well. Hey, there's some for sale, residential and commercial, land for sale. You might have to fill in some of the swampy bits, but it might be worth it. So here is the swampy land, and that again is also for sale or for lease. I just want to share with you the navigation, and you can see how much water is in the interior of Florida here. Again, rain has stopped. Clouds are lightening a bit. It's a nice quiet drive compared to the highway. There are a few trucks that we've seen back here, but not as many. And we're going to come up on some more swampy land on either side of us as we continue our way down to Disney World. There's some trees with the Spanish moss as we wait for the light. I'll do a little zoom in here. I can see that old tree. Old trees with Spanish moss. Is that an armadillo? No, just somebody's garbage. Oh, I was excited there for a minute. Some palm trees. And we are now in Groveland. I'll pull out the focus a little bit. Lakes in the background. We're going to build some new homes here. And lots of land. Peaches, watermelon, mangoes, tomatoes, strawberries, gator jerky. There's gator jerky here, yep. Might be able to find a pair of gator boots too. Anyway, always, there we go, see, look, tomatoes, gator jerky, honey bells, not sure what those are. Maybe little oranges. There again, honey bells, mangoes, red navels, strawberries, watermelon, local honey, always good. There we go. Tomatoes, peaches, and I guess they sell them all here. And if you want some gator jerky, Greg, we better make that turn right now at the little stand. It's Disney World, 1 mile. We are getting closer. Actually, it's 1 mile to the freeway, and then we need to follow the signs from there. We are still about 20 minutes off of our destination, so almost. Nathaniel, what are you most excited about?
Disney.
Disney World or seeing your brother?
Disney.
That's not a hard question, is it?
No.
Greg says, that's mean. It might be true, but that's mean. But yeah, I mean, if you're given the choice between a sibling and Disney World, I have to say, which one wins out every time, Greg?
Disney World.
It's true, it's true. We are on one of the Orlando strips, and these places get busy. We are about to turn think we stayed here once before. Yeah, I think we stayed, there's the McDonald's. I think we stayed in the building behind there. We have just turned from the Orlando Strip and we are going basically in one of the back doorways into Disney. There's some Disney buses and we are going over towards, I guess, Animal Kingdom Lodge area. And Animal Kingdom, there's the Disney Auditions, Disney Sports. This is the sneaky way in. Here we are taking the back door into Disney. We are going to pick Isaac up from work, so we are not going through the main gate areas and just the quiet route in, which is kind of a nice thing to do, although we are turning next left.
In 1/10 of a mile, turn left onto Osceola Parkway.
And we are almost there. I'm as cheeky as the ducks sitting on the dock right now. I am going to leave you there at the back entrance into Disney World. I know, we didn't even do the main gate. It was a lot less stressful and it was easy to get to pick Isaac up at work. So the next time we pick up, we will be meeting Isaac at work and we will be doing lots of touring around the Disney grounds. But for now, I'm leaving you at that back entrance and we'll pick it up in a couple of days. So we will do a little bit more traveling. But for today, that was a long enough vlog. I hope that you enjoyed the ride. It is good to get out of the car and stretch now. It really is. So do a little bit of stretching. I hope you've been enjoying the crafting while I have been chattering away from the car. Today, after I finish and put this little clip into the video, I'm going to upload and then I am going to do some knitting and have a nice quiet evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow on day 12 of Vlogtober. Bye. So now that you've had a long vlog to practice, can you do it? Can you spell Mississippi?